down in Latin America right now. But again, it's important for us to recognize all of those and the many stakeholders who have made this Louisiana hunting tradition a reality again. Black bears, as I said earlier, were once threatened here in Louisiana. However, because of the incredible conservation efforts, the population has rebounded, and resurgence is considered to be a huge success story. We now have so many that they're getting in the way of deer hunting, and with sometimes 4 and 5 black bears showing up at one hunt on a game cam. And so, as you can tell, the success has got us to the point where it's time to harvest. Of course, it wasn't always that way. And due to years of over-exploitation from bear hunting in the 19th and 20th century, the Louisiana black bear was nearly brought to extinction. And of course, famously, we know of a teddy bear because of Teddy Roosevelt, who hunted a black bear. And of course, that's the dispute between Mississippi and Louisiana, right? We claim that the president shot the bear in Louisiana, right, Dan?
That's right.
That's right. In October of 1907, President Roosevelt traveled down to East Carroll and Madison parishes for a traditional bear hunt. Of course, we know that Teddy Roosevelt was one of the greatest conservation-minded founders of our time, and his great adventure is recalled in the Louisiana cane breaks. And so today, I'm happy to announce that we're back to black bear hunting. Teddy Roosevelt would be smiling. I'm sure he's smiling above us, saying it's about time those guys get back to bear hunting again. And while the tags are going to be extremely limited this season, the numbers could see an increase in subsequent years as the recovery population goals are met. And so when I think about all of the great things that we did this year and all of the help that everyone around the state has given and the legislature has, to think that we get to end the year with the announcement of a brand new black bear season, I couldn't think of a better Christmas gift. And so now I'd like to turn it over to our secretary to announce the incredible partnership between Wildlife and Fisheries and the Healing Road Foundation. Madison.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you all for being here today. It's conservation partnerships that allow us to do the work that we do every day as an agency. And I'm very proud to announce really a historic partnership, because every day we at the department work to serve the sportsman's paradise, to make sure that the priority is to the sportsman to be able to hunt and fish in the state. So being able to increase a recreational opportunity today and throughout the next couple of weeks as we venture on this black bear season is a historic thing for the state of Louisiana. And those partnerships are only possible with people that are willing to come to the table in these private public capacities to really change the face of conservation and how we choose to move forward, as you'll see that today. And since the 80s, we've seen huge challenges with the black bear, of being on the endangered species list to then coming off of the list, again, with the help of many partners to make this possible, to bring us to the point where we can actually have a season. But it wouldn't be done without a lot of the work of our biologists. We have John Hanks and Johnny Berry here today, who are standing over here, that have done most of the work on this to be able to make this possible from a habitat standpoint, but also with our private landowners who have allowed us to come on their property and really make this the success that it is. And so today, it's my honor to announce not only with the heritage of the sportsman's paradise, but also to be able to honor those who have served this country and to be able to really put forth something that can be sustained for many generations to come. And so we're announcing a partnership with Healing Roads Foundation, a foundation that is dedicated to allowing our veterans, once they come home, to provide them with opportunities to hunt and to fish. And so with that, we are presenting them with their investment, the first black bear tag, and allowing a veteran of their organization to be able to go and hunt over the next couple weeks to actually be able to harvest a black bear. And so that wouldn't be possible without their team and the investment in the state of Louisiana. And there's really no place better to do that than the sportsman's paradise. And so I'd like to present to them the first black bear tag to the Healing Roads Foundation and Dan Genter for being able to put this together. And so with that, I'd like to ask Dan Genter to come up to the podium to be able to speak on behalf of Healing Roads and the work that they've done.
Right. Thank you, Madison. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of my wife, Agatha, and our firm, Gentry Capital, and to be teamed up with Healing Roads Foundation. I mean, this is particularly special to me because I'm from South Louisiana. So I was born and raised in Metairie, and so most of my family still lives here. So even though I'm a California transplant, which nobody understands, it's always fun for me to, come back here, and it's always going to be home. But having been able to partner now with Healing Roads Foundation and with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, we think we put something together very, very special. Not only, as the governor mentioned, is this the only state in United States history that has not only taken one, but now taken two animals that were on the endangered species list or the threatened list and brought it back to a status where actually it can be enjoyed by the population of Louisiana. But also with this partnership, we have an opportunity to really reward and also just thank our veterans that have made so many sacrifices for us. And Healing Roads Foundation, I mean, this is perfectly in line with the core values of Healing Roads Foundation, which is focused on giving tremendous and unique outdoor experiences to our veterans or their surviving families or their children. And to have them be able to enjoy nature, to enjoy the wildlife and also the preservation of that wildlife. And so today we're honored that we have Darren Santini, who's with us, who has served this country honorably in Iraq. As a matter of fact, if I recall properly, Darren, you actually were wounded on day 3 of your service in Iraq, or very, very early on.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah, so, but it's in a position to where, as he's fought back from his wounds over time, to put him in a position to where now he can enjoy Louisiana, be part of this program, and be just part of not only the success that he and we have had on a military basis in multiple theaters, but now the success that Louisiana has had in taking an endangered species and returning it to a very healthy population and status. So on behalf of Healing Roads Foundation, we'd just like to thank all of you for being here, and then thank all the effort on the part of Madison and the entire Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. It's that they've just done a tremendous job, and something that literally Louisiana is the only state in history that's ever done this. So thank you.
And the last thing I'd like to mention is not only do we have Darren here to be able to represent the bear tag, but we also have the Colonel here from Veterans Affairs representing his division in the partnership here. But we also have members of all branches of the military represented by our staff at the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. So I just want to thank them for their service, not only to the state, but this country prior to this.
And again, real briefly, before we take some questions, I want to make sure that the Wildlife and Fisheries staff understands what they did. I think what Dan just said was exactly what our theme was when we started this year, was to come back home. And so to have someone like Dan Gent and his wife to travel from California to come back home and to reinvest in Louisiana, you can see the smiles that it places on people's face. And those are the things that y'all are doing. So it's a great work that y'all are doing. So again, want to thank you. I want to thank Charlton to be here as well, our Veterans Affairs. You're seeing, again, the collaboration and the work between the various state departments in this state and our cabinet secretaries, and the great things that we can do. So again, Dan, thank you so much for that investment. I look forward to putting that picture of that black bear on my social media when you got it. Great. We got it. You can send Dan the first one. I want the second one. Is that okay? All right. Thank you. With that, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Governor, can you talk about how many tags are being released this year and what the population threshold would be in order to increase the number of tags in later years?
So I don't really get myself in trouble, I'm going to let Madison answer that.
So there are 10 tags total plus this permit. So 7 of the tags went to our private landowners. The reason they went to them is because those are the folks who have helped us be able to put black bears on their land through the reintroduction, increase habitat to be able to put this together. And then we also have 1 tag that went to a public tag, and then 1 tag on our WMAs to manage the population. So we believe that there are about 1,500 black bears throughout the state that we actively manage. As that number increases and as we watch the fluctuation of the season over the next year, we're going to look to be able to increase those opportunities, not only outside Bear Area 4, which is that Madison Tinsall Parish where you're seeing the season now, but also throughout the state. And a lot of that work, like I said, the surveying, all of the habitat management, everything is really dedicated to our bear team who works on these projects every day.
Would there also be a situation where, should there maybe not be a good breeding season, that you reduce the number of tags for a year?
Obviously, there's always a potential when we're working with anything that was on the endangered species list at one time. We want to be very careful about what we do with this species, but we want to make sure we're managing it so that it can be hunted by the sportsmen of the state.
Can you tell us a little bit about the black bear hunter training course?
Yeah, so we required everybody to go through a hunting course. Not only it provided safety, but also so that way they knew the hunter safety precautions and things. Obviously, you're working with a black bear. That's a little bit different than if you're out deer hunting. So we wanted to make sure we ran them through a safety course. We also wanted to make sure that they were able to identify male to female bears. We wanted to make sure that we showed the difference in baiting techniques and things like that. And we also wanted to show kind of once a bear is harvested, what that process looks like as well.
Is there like a few days? How long?
It was one day. It lasted about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then
We can
every
put y'all
one of them-
through it if you like.
Yes,
Anybody in the
it
press
is
would like to do
recorded.
it?
No, we can definitely. So we went through that process, and all of our hunters went through it. So all 10 hunters, and then our team will take everybody through as well.
Can you also briefly talk about the efforts that were done to bring this population back so strongly?
Yeah, so this obviously started back in the 80s, and so we went through a series of things. The main thing that we did was we went out and we worked with private landowners to really increase the capacity on private land. So throughout this process, millions of acres of habitat has actually been restored in Louisiana to be able to use conservation easements and other projects to be able to increase the habitat statewide. And so when you're looking at all of these great partnerships with our private landowners, we're able to increase our impact as an agency to bring back some of that habitat. We also worked on a lot of denning situations, and then the actual reintroduction of the black bear, which has been done since the 80s, as well as we've gone through a series of lawsuits that Safari Club International stepped in and helped us with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to be able to go through those to make sure we can get to this point today.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to certainly also thank the Attorney General. I know during my time there as well, we worked extremely close with SCI and with those stakeholders to ensure that the litigation was disposed of as quickly as possible. And that was one of the hurdles that we had to be able to cross in order to get this. And so I think that, again, today shows the people of this state how when we all work together towards a common goal, we can reach that. And it's going to be, and again, I think today we just exemplify Louisiana as a sportsman's paradise.
Comment on Sid Edwards winning the EBR Bear President's Race?
Can I go? Yeah, it's great. I mean, look, I think it's wonderful. I think that the voters went out there and spoke. I spoke to Sid on Saturday. I look forward to working with his administration. I told him that our office would be completely available to him, just like they were when Mayor Brum was there as well. I think that Baton Rouge certainly has its challenges. We look forward to working with them to do something about crime in this city, just as we are imprinted in the city of New Orleans as well. And so we had a great conversation. I think it was on Sunday morning. Yeah. Okay. What? Any more? All right. Thank y'all. I want to take a picture in the front. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I can just ask